3, 1. That is the first part of this third canto. And this is chapter 2. The chapter's name is Remembrance of Lord Krishna. If you recollect, we were talking about Vidur. Having gone all over India, he meets Uddhava on the banks of Yamuna river. After he meets him over there, the first thing that he does is he wants to know how is everybody. And he asks Uddhava about literally everybody. From Sri Krishna, Balrama, to the children, to the wives, to the entire Yadu Vansh that is there. Then he talks about the Kurus also. He's talking about the Pandavas and Dhritarashtra and everybody. So all this was going on. And Uddhava had not yet answered. Now, today what we are going to do is we are going to understand what Uddhava is going to do once he is asked these kind of questions. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Part 1, Chapter 2. This is verse 1 onwards. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the message of the dearest Lord, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord. I am sure you understand why the anxiety is. Sri Krishna has passed away. And the main anxiety was that when you too remember somebody who has been with you all your life and suddenly is no more, how do you feel about it? But in case of Uddhava, it is far greater because Uddhava is not only his childhood friend, one of the kinsmen over there, somebody who was already there with him for such a long time, and now the last meeting of his was also with Sri Krishna, which we will be doing in the future. If you remember, we had already finished it. It is called the Uddhav Gita. Now he is going to be taking this lesson somewhere in the 11th canto. But right now we are focusing only on what is happening over there. So Uddhava is very upset that he is remembering all the things that have transpired between him and Sri Krishna. And that is why he is having that excessive anxiety. He was unable to answer immediately. See, when somebody says something and you are in a very anxious and a disturbed mode after having lost that person, it is very tough for a human being to react immediately. During the pandemic also, a lot of people lost their lives. And even in my case, there were some people whom I knew. I just sent them a message saying how they are, and I did not get any answer for many days. I was wondering what exactly transpired, and then I was suddenly told one day by their next to kin that these people are no more. Now in the age group that this body is in, I am sure you understand there are lots of people who pass away at this age. But Sri Krishna was already 125 years old when he passed away. Uddhava was elder to him because he has seen Krishna. Also you will find that there are people who have been living for many years. During that time the life expectancy must have been anywhere between 150 years to 200 years, because when Vidura is asking this question, remember Vidura was elder. He was elder to Sri Krishna. And naturally, as you can see, being an elderly person and he is still alive and asking this question, how is Sri Krishna, how are his brothers and everybody? It just seems a little out of place. So we do the second verse. He was one who, even in his childhood at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. Now, Uddhava was so much engrossed in the devotion to Sri Krishna that as a child also he was lost in remembering Sri Krishna. Now, this happens when you are so much in love with another person. See, I don't think as a 5 or a 6-year-old you have much knowledge or understanding. But here you can see that the person, the entire world at that point in time for that matter, was in love with Sri Krishna. And Uddhava was also one of the greatest devotees of Krishna. So even when Uddhava was 5 or 6 years old, his mother used to say, please come for breakfast, please come for lunch, please come for this. But he would not be listening to her because he was lost in his mind with Sri Krishna alone. And that was the case. Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood. And in his old age, that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of Lord, he at once remembered all about him. Sorry. Remember, here Uddhava has been sent by Sri Krishna first to the place where Brahmaji was. It's called Pushkar. And then he was told to go on his journey further up to the Himalayas. So he is crossing that, going towards Yamuna river, then climbing up and going towards the Ganga. The end point of Ganga, wherever it starts, is called Gomukh. So he is going up that path, and there suddenly he is meeting Vidura. And Vidura, when he asks him the question, he is unable to stop his tears. He is unable to say anything to Vidura because he is very upset. He doesn't know what to do. He has lost his best friend, buddy, whatever you want to call him. And Sri Krishna was the dearest to literally everybody, And when Sri Krishna has gone away, it's a very hurtful scenario. It is really impossible to even gather yourself when such a kind of a thing happens. And Sri Krishna has been on this earth for more than 125 years. And here is Uddhava who has seen him from childhood. See, when you have a company of a person for more than 100 years, I am sure you understand how it must have been. Your best friend, your buddy, a person that you go to, your mentor, your guide, your everything. And even the final words were given to him. So it was very touching. And he was unable to get out of this. So he remembered everything that was happening with Sri Krishna when he was there. For a moment he remained dead silent, and his body did not move. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet in devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy. Now, this is something which I have to explain to you. Now, this is a scene where human beings, those who are devotees of God, they can suddenly get transported in a place where nobody can think of. It is a unique phenomena where you become lost in the divine. You can see some of these great sages and saints completely absorbed in the Lord. Ramakrishna Paramahansa was lost in Kalima. Ramana Maharshi was completely lost in this ecstasy. You will find them like that. I have seen some great sages and saints also in my own world who have been completely taken over by just thinking about the Lord's feet. When you spend time in the devotional path, the one thing that you got to do is remember the Lord in its own pristine glory. Now, how do you remember this Lord? The Lord is remembered either by his face or the method that he is using. Like, say for example, you will find Krishna is always in the bent form, in an S form, a flute in his hand. I'm sure this is the kind of image which you have always seen, visualized. The best way to remember someone dear, that is the God Almighty himself, is to be lost in the feet. You will find that Lakshmana was completely lost in the feet of Sita Maiya. He never could look up. He was always looking down, and he would praise those feet, the beautiful feet of Sita Maiya. In a similar fashion, Uddhava was completely lost remembering the feet of Sri Krishna. So this is the intensity of the devotion that a person has. They can get lost in just thinking about the Lord's feet. I'm sure you have seen how Sri Krishna stands. His one leg is on the ground and his other leg is like this cross. It's a very unique way of standing. You know? And just imagine you are remembering these beautiful feet of his. He doesn't stand straight at all. So if you recollect, Sri Krishna's way of standing is very unique. And here was Uddhava just thinking about it and getting into an ecstatic spiritual state. It's a transcendental state. So, it was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away the tears of separation from his eyes. Thus Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord. This is what happens to most of the people. When you think of the Lord, just thinking creates a lot of issues in the minds of people. The signs in which your love is exhibited. Remember, it's a meeting of the hearts. But when the meeting of the hearts happens, how does it work? So first and foremost, tears will start flowing down from your eyes. You will not even understand why you are crying. The tears flow automatically. You are unable to speak. The speech is inhibited. You cannot even open your mouth to speak anything. If some word is expressed, you are not able to understand what you are saying yourself. Then you will find horripilations on your body. All your hairs are standing at ends. You will find that your hair at the back of your neck, behind, that is also risen. Your whole body is in a disturbed condition. You have no way of knowing. One second. You have no way of knowing how this has worked. Because devotion by itself is a very, very unique phenomenon. If you are to meet your friend, a very, very old friend of yours, do you know how you will meet him? It is going to be something very unique, isn't it? You are going to meet him after a long time. The devotional path is exactly like that. The tears flow from your eyes for no rhyme or reason. You just feel so mighty pleased, so happy. It's the internal happiness that is seen visible. It expresses itself in the form of tears. And here you will find that Uddhava is literally on the point of crying. He is unable to control his tears, which Vidura can see. Vidura can understand what is the kind of love that Uddhava had for Sri Krishna. It is beyond comparison. The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. Now, here you will find that Uddhava, who was transported to the heaven of Sri Krishna, is come back. It's like you land on the earth and then you look at the person who is talking to you. Oh, is that you? Vidura? Oh, nice to see you. And then whatever that he has said is getting assimilated. Yes, he is asking about everybody. And here I was transported to Sri Krishna's domain suddenly out of the blue. Just thinking about the Lord. So he is wiped his eyes, his tears, is looking at Vidura, and he is going to speak what has happened. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2 to verse 7. Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Vidura, the Son of the world, Lord Sri Krishna, has set, and our house has not been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?" See, his words are very poetic because he has lost everything. What has he lost? He has lost Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna has passed away to his own abode. Remember, he was shot with that arrow. That arrow has entered this toe of his. He has bled to death in Prabhasa. It was a curse of the lady that, and it had to be fulfilled. Sri Krishna had taken human birth. As a human, he had manifested. And every time when the Lord manifests as a human being, death is inevitable. Death is inevitable. Except some avatars that are there, which are called the eternal avatars, which the Lord takes. One of them is the Parshuram avatar. He is eternal. He will pass away when the fourth yuga ends. Dattatreya's avatar is also eternal. Like that, Hanumanji's avatar is eternal. So there are lots of people like this, gods who have taken a form, deities, gods who have taken a form, a human form. They will be alive on this earth for a very long time. But Sri Krishna's life had terminated. As a human being, he had given up his mortal coil. That means he has given back the body to the earth once again. Got it? And he had passed on away to his abode. That is Golok Vrindavana. So, he says, Uddhava is looking at Vidura and says that I am very sad to say that Sri Krishna has passed away. And today we don't even have the land where we were supposed to be. That means what has happened is Dwarka has been swallowed by the sea. See, Dwarka, that Dwarkapuri which was there, where he used to stay, Sri Krishna and his entire family, the Yadus and everybody, they had shifted from Mathura to Dwarka. Now, when Sri Krishna passed away and the entire family was wiped out, at that moment in time, even Dwarka was swallowed by the sea. This is a phenomena which happens across the world many a times. Once in every 10,000 years, you will find that there are great lands closer to the sea that gets wiped away. The sea takes it within. So Dwarka is underwater. Again, there is no way of knowing where it is today, because whatever we see today as Dwarka is not the original one at all. It could have happened 5,000-6,000 years ago. We don't even know what timeline we are talking about. And that is the reason why we have to avoid those thinkings that it happened so many years ago. But just for understanding, here we are reading this Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is mentioned over here that the snake of time has taken away this Dwarka also, Sri Krishna also. And what can we say about the welfare of that place or thing? There is nothing that I can say. So Uddhava is unable to talk much about this. Verse 8 says, this universe with all its planets is most unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty, because they could not identify Lord Hari as Sri Krishna any more than the fish could identify the moon. This is something which you have to know. Sri Krishna was staying with his entire family. His family was very, very huge. The entire Yadus, the Yadu Vansh that was there, his wives included, his children, his grandchildren, everybody included. His brother was also a part of it. If you remember, Balram, Shankarsana was also there. But unfortunately, nobody knew about Sri Krishna. Can you imagine that Sri Krishna appeared incognito even to his family members? They looked upon Sri Krishna as an ordinary person. You can imagine the Maya of Sri Krishna is so beautiful that he made everybody think that he is some ordinary person from the roadside. Like a common man, He's not a God Almighty. This is the funny part about Sri Krishna. He never revealed himself to anybody except the dearest devotee of the Lord. Today also, when we look at this kind of a thing, we will be unable to gauge the importance of staying incognito in this world. Are you getting what I am saying? Everybody in this world wants to be known and seen. Especially you are little known. Like people have a little bit of money, they have a little bit of fame here and there, they have some knowledge somewhere. The human beings are so petty. We all want to be known by somebody. Even if you are working for an organization, have you noticed that everybody wants to be recognized? Recognition is something we all love, Oh, you are so and so. I met one Swamiji one day and I told him, I said, you know what? The difference between you and me, when you walk into the streets or you go to the airport or wherever you go, people are going to swarm around you. They are going to make your life miserable because you are known. People recognize you. and it will be difficult for you to just walk away from there. You are going to be a hypocrite trying to please everybody around. I am here. You are not even aware that I was here. I don't know whether you recognize me, but if you think that this is what you want in your life, it is going to be very tough for you. Because everybody is going to be following you. Sri Krishna, when he appears in this world, he never opens his mouth and says who he is. He is looked upon as an ordinary boy, as a young boy. My Gurudev is exactly like that. Dattatreya is exactly like that. He moves around incognito. Nobody knows where he is, how he comes, what he does. He will suddenly appear. You may not even recognize him. When I met my Gurudev, he always appeared as a very young person. At one time he appeared around 35-40 years old. And he came in like an ordinary man. It was not easy for me to recognize him the first time. But when he took me to the place, I knew who he was. Similarly, Sri Krishna appeared so ordinary to his own people. His own people looked at him with disdain. Oh, he's my father, you know. Really? He's my grandfather. He is like he gives me chocolates. Really? I mean, just imagine somebody talking like this about Sri Krishna. And when he is sitting in the assembly with all the people around him, nobody looks at him. No one knew about Sri Krishna's existence as a divine consciousness. He was the Supreme Lord himself, and nobody had even a single clue about it. The universe with all its planets are most unfortunate, and even the most unfortunate are the members of the Yadu family, because they could not identify Lord Hari as Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality, that is the divine consciousness, any more than the fish would identify the moon. So here, there are many people talking. I don't know how many of you can understand this. Ved Vyas is telling his son these words. Sukdev, who is his son, is telling these words to Parikshit. There is Suta Goswami over there who is talking about it. Uddhava is talking to Vidura. And nobody had any clue. Imagine Dhritarashtra. Imagine all the Kauravas and the Pandavas. The entire Yaduvansh had no clue about Sri Krishna as the divine consciousness, as the Supreme Lord himself amongst him. In front of him, the Lord is there and nobody can recognize him. One of the reasons I have to tell you is because when the Lord himself comes, the moment you come to know that, oh, he is the divine Lord, everybody will go to him and will ask for favors. You understand what I'm talking? It is exactly how you will look at your own bosses. Suppose the chairman or the CEO comes and stands in front of you, you will immediately put forward your own, oh, can I get this? Can I do this? Is this possible? Is that possible? This is how human beings are. You want to take selfies. How many times have you seen, if there is a very important person, you want to take a selfie with him? Really? Human beings are so petty. There was this movie, Prabhas's movie. It was a very big movie it was. And when that movie became a super duper hit in this world, one of the characters we met in Ooty. And my disciple says, "Can I take a picture with him?" I said, "Go ahead, ask him." He obliged. They feel highly pleased when they are recognized. Think about it. If tomorrow a very great actor like Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan is walking on the street and nobody recognizes him, they are going to feel insulted. The politicians, if they are walking, they are going to feel insulted. I have met Shivji and he came like a very ordinary person limping in front of me. Near the Ganga river, the Triveni Sangam. The disciple who was with me couldn't recognize him. He had asked me the previous day, "Can I meet Shivji?" I said, "Yeah, you can see him." But nobody recognized him. This is just a few months ago. We had gone to a temple where Lakshmi ji came in. She was holding my hands and jumping away all the way to the last temple, and she started showing me, "Show me this, show me that, this, so many things." She was so full of exuberance. Who could recognize her? She looks like an ordinary child, You look at a child and you say, "Oh, this is a small baby. She's very fascinated by things." No! You have to recognize the Lord. And Sri Krishna is very peculiar in this. He will behave in a very peculiar fashion. He will stand in front of you and yet you will not even recognize him. So unique. And that is the reason why not a single family member, nobody could recognize him. Nobody. And he remained incognito throughout his life. Even when somebody saw him perform miracle, he ensured that Maya plays a very important role and he wiped out their memories so that they won't even remember the miracle that he performs. It is so unique. Sri Krishna performs miracles every single day, and yet you will not recognize him. Verse 9. Yadus were all experienced devotees, learned and expert in psychic study. Over and above this, they were always with the Lord in all kinds of relaxations, and still they were only able to know him as the one supreme who dwells everywhere. See, the thing which you have to understand is the Lord behaves in such an ordinary fashion. Only few, very, very select few devotees, have the power to see through him. He actually gives them the grace to see. Please know this. He will not allow everybody to see. To every other person, he will look like an ordinary person. Yeah. And only to few, a select few, he will give them that ability to understand him. The grace is on them. They can see through him. So, and very, very highly evolved devotees of the Lord are only able to perceive him. Nobody else has the right to even look at him. They will look at him and they will move their eyes away. Nothing is going to happen to them. Nothing. Because they are constantly taken over by Maya. Funnily, Maya acts so well that it is near impossible to recognize the Lord. And when has he ever said that he is not going to be there? On the contrary, he always says, I am always there. And this is how he works. Verse 10, under no circumstances can the word of person bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls. This Maya works in a very peculiar fashion. The Maya makes the mother think, oh, he is just my son. Okay. The father also looks at him as a son. Okay. His sister, brothers, whoever that is there, they also look at him as one of the siblings. Oh, nothing great, He's an ordinary person. His wives, his children, the wives look at him, they say, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Bring this thing from that place, bring that thing from that place. Can you rub my feet? Can you rub my back? Can you do this to my hair? Do this, do that. All kinds of nonsensical things they tell the Lord to do. Thinking he is such an ordinary person. The wives have no clue. Absolutely zero idea. Now you may say, that is Rukmini, that is Lakshmi's avatar. How she doesn't know? There is a very beautiful story where Hanumanji goes to, he meets Balaram on the way. Balaram cannot recognize this old monkey. Because the monkey is sleeping over there with his tail across the road. Balaram is not able to lift his tail. And so he complains to his brother. He says, there is a monkey over there. He is not even moving away from there. I am a little bit afraid. Because you see, though I may be such a strong person, but I am afraid to cross that path. Because that monkey can do anything. Balaram couldn't recognize Hanumanji. Hanumanji couldn't recognize Balaram as Lakshman. Both couldn't. Then Sri Krishna, who is there, he says, okay, let me come with you. And when he goes over there, he looks at Hanumanji and says, I'm sure you know who I am. When Hanumanji looks at Sri Krishna, he sees Sri Ram standing over there. He says, you are so much interested in Sri Ram, isn't it? So do one thing. If you want to meet Sri Ram, come to my place in Dwarkapuri. Come over there and I will introduce you to him. Hanumanji moves away and Balaram and Sri Krishna pass from there. Many days later, there is a monkey destroying the forest over there in Dwarka. At that moment in time, somebody, Balaram goes over there and he says, brother, there is one violent monkey over there. He is going and destroying the forest over there, the fruit forest that is there. Immediately Sri Krishna recognizes who this person is. He goes to his wife and he says, please dress up nicely. We have to present ourselves to our very beloved Bhakt. This beloved Bhakt's name is Hanumanji. So kindly come as Sita Maya. Rukmini has to be reminded who he is. And then he tells his brother, you have to become like Lakshman. And then all three of them go and meet him, Hanumanji. The Maya of the Lord is so strong that even his dear ones, Brahmaji himself couldn't recognize Sri Krishna. Parshuram couldn't recognize his own avatar, Sri Ram. Can you imagine this? The Lord plays tricks on this, everybody around. Nobody is able to recognize him. They think of him as an ordinary person. They will make him do everything. and he will oblige everybody. He is going to behave as a very ordinary person and oblige everybody. And that is the reason why it is near impossible for those who are bewildered by his Maya to recognize him. Only the highest of the devotees, please understand these words, the highest of the devotees are only entitled to see him and recognize him in that mundane avatar that he has taken. Otherwise, he doesn't even open his mouth and say anything. So, only those surrendered souls are able to see through this Lord. Verse 11, remembrance of Lord Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, verse 11. Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who are unable to see him as he is due to not executing required penance. Sri Krishna went away from this world. Remember, he got hit by that arrow and he passed away, right? Those who were not his devotees had no clue that Sri Krishna passed away. The Lord was there with them. He played with them. He did all their jobs. He served them every single day. He worked like a very ordinary mortal. He was a kinsman. He was a husband. He was a father. He was a grandfather. He was a son. Okay. He was somebody who was an administrator over there. He fought wars as a warrior also. All these things he did. No wife of his or nobody could actually recognize him. Only the highest of the devotees can understand. Do you know the reason why nobody can recognize him? The reason is because they have not done their penance. They have really not worked hard in recognizing him. You have to do a lot of tapas. Tapascharya is a must. You have to really work hard in that direction. Just being some ordinary person on the roadside doesn't work. If you want to be the best, you have to put in efforts. So here he says, they were unable to see him because of not executing the required penance. If you don't do this penance, no Sri Krishna, forget about Sri Krishna, you won't be able to see anything. You will look at him as an ordinary person, thinking, oh yeah, he is such an ordinary person. Behaves so simply. You can see him suffering, you see. If you cut his finger, he will bleed, isn't it? Of course he will bleed. Right? He will show his anger also. He will show as if he is greedy. He will show very, very different flavors of his entire nature as an ordinary person. He will say, oh, I love this, I hate that. Oh, really? Of course. He makes everybody think that he is normal or beyond normal, a very simple human being. This idea you have to know. If you really want to see him in who he is, then you have to become a child. Please understand this. If you don't become a child, you will not understand. You know, a child dependent on the father and the mother, exactly like that. So become like that. Surrender to him. Have complete faith in the Lord. There is nothing to be bothering you. I hope you get that. You have to show your innocence. This kind of fervor that comes about when you love Sri Krishna, that happens only when you have highest penance is done by you. That means you have to put in a lot of efforts. Then only you can see him. Otherwise not. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, verse 12. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his own internal potency, Yoga Maya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone. even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments. So when he came onto this earth, it was his original form. Okay, he took his original form and he came. So when he appeared there as his original form, what did he do? He played games, pastimes. The moment you think of him, oh, he's playing with all those girls over there. Really? You know, the moment you think like this, oh, he's so ordinary. He's got so many wives, you know. Huh? Oh, he's got this power. He can lift a mountain. But how many people will remember? Nobody remembers. This idea that Sri Krishna appears so ordinary and plays with people in a very simple manner has to be understood by you. These pastimes are wonderful. What are the pastimes? He will play like an ordinary person. He will behave so simply that you will feel, oh, he's joking. He's making fun. Oh, look at him. He goes to this person's house, that person's house and robs them. Of what? Ghee and butter? So, when you look at him, it appears like that, you know. He cries. He's tied up by his mother. So many things. So simple. He is the Lord of Vaikuntha. As Mahavishnu, he is the Lord of Vaikuntha. He is the Lord of his own domain in Golok Vrindavana. That's a different entity. This is a different entity. His body has to be considered as the greatest of the ornaments. That means we have to pray to his being in the most profound manner, as if it is the only jewel in the world. Are you understanding? You see, when you have a jewelry or when you have something very, very unique in your hand, you know, today you have a cell phone and you are so much, possessed by it, isn't it? Similarly, think like that. Here is a jewel in front of you. Sri Krishna, the Murti that he has, the appearance that he has, you have to possess it. Because that is his unique appearance. And behave in that manner. Give him the due respect. Give him that which he loves. Always be in his favor. Don't fall out of favor from him. And he is going to make it appear as if he is some ordinary mortal. And that is how he behaves. Though he is the Lord of the Vaikuntha and Golok Vrindavana and this entire universe he has created. But he is so ordinary. So don't get fooled by his appearance at all. So we have come to the end of verse 12. Canto 3, chapter 2, Srimad Bhagavatam. We will stop over here and tomorrow we will continue with verse 13.
Recording stop.